Welcome, folks. This is Tom O'Brien of TFNN. We go 5 days a week. We go 9 hours a day. We go 24 hours a day on the internet at TFNN.com. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. Hope everyone's having a great day, safe day. It's a TGIF, folks. Let's make it a great one. Let's take a look at one of our 4 agreements. Always do your best. Take action on your ideas. Doing your best means to take action. You can have many great ideas in your head, but without action upon that idea, there'll be no manifestation, no results, and no reward. Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow down 4, NASDAQ off 23, S&Ps up 7.50. Gold up $9.90, trading at $1,294 an ounce. Silver up 8 cents at $19.47 an ounce. Platinum up 14 at $1,428 an ounce. Copper flat at $3.14 a pound. Light sweet crude up 36 cents, trading at $108.40. King dollar. No, forget King dollar just yet. Bonds. Bonds are going to turn into a king. Not just yet. They're getting there, though. Bonds up 1 point and 2 ticks at 135.23. King dollar down 265 ticks, trading out at 82.69. The euro is up 31 at 131, and the yen is flat at 100.32. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. Want to know what's going on in your world? In the world of the S&Ps, let's take a look at them. What do you have? Bottom line, folks, you're at a higher high. And, yeah, the juice isn't there, but we closed over the 1687.18 on the cash S&P. That says it can go higher. That's the bottom line. Wild, but that's where it's at. Dow Industrials, what we did with the Dow closed at 15,543. And you're going to love this. The 15,542 was the high that was generated on the 22nd. It's over it by 1 point. We got to a higher high yesterday, but you are over that by 1 point also. Now, composite. NASDAQ composite gap down today. Composite was down $23. So here's where we get divergence, okay? But so I'm going to go back to the S&P for a second, because this is what also happened in the S&P. The S&P, Dow Industrials, did $849 million. Now, 849 is an expansion of volume, no doubt, and what that, I'm sure, was all about is that you got over that high and people closing their positions for the weekend, meaning short position. They're saying, okay, that's it. Versus 660. It still should be doing $1.2 billion. But bottom line, when you are over a high, you can get higher. If we take a look at the SPY and we want to see the correlation inside that, meaning who's in the store, well, there's no one in the store, but guess what? We're at a higher price. We did, on a weekly basis, folks, $452 million versus $788 million. So we are at 169.17, 169.07 was that high. If we take a look at the 3 Qs, this is what you have with the 3 Qs. We got into a price point. We closed at 74.59. Now, so watch how this one works. This is good. This. 1 second. Sorry about this, folks. I'll get it later. What you have with this, okay, with the 4 Qs, folks, you got back inside the range, meaning the May 22nd level, 74.95. It had taken that out, and it had taken that out with 151 million versus 185. Now we came back inside it. So here's where the divergence is. You're back inside it, so that means it's a failure. That says, okay, NDX 100 wants to get down to 69. We're at 74. Small caps. We take a look at the small caps. We use the IWM first. Small caps are also at a higher high. The small caps, we take a look at this, and we put this on a weekly basis, and what you're going to see is that this week we did 152 million, last week 166. The high that it took out was with 195. So what does it mean when it put it all together? It means specifically that because the cash S&P closed higher, S&P can go higher. The Dow Industrials is right where it's 1 point higher. That means that could go higher. The NASDAQ failed downtown. Gold contract. This is what we have with the gold contract. Gold contract out here today. She hung up there. She's up $10. She did 124,000 contracts. Gold, folks, is at $12.94 right now. She's building cars to get up to this $13.85, and I expect what we're going to see with gold, we're going to see some kind of a gap higher. Bond market. This one's going to get interesting, and this is what it is. We almost had the full price spread we needed out here today. Bonds are up a full point. We're at 135.22, and she's certainly back inside the range. If we do put this on a weekly basis, what you're going to see is this. On a weekly basis, she has broken the downtrend from 140. So this is what you have. She hasn't broken the downtrend from the 148. You know, there's two different, well, there's a sub-trend inside this larger trend down, folks. The way we closed on the weekly basis out here and on the daily basis, it's saying, okay, now she can make a run for the 140.20, which is a big run, by the way. That's 5 points from where we are right now. All that has to happen in between that run, if you get that wide price spread, that accelerated volume, that would break the whole downtrend that had started on May 1st. When we take a look at King Dollar out here, this is what we have with King Dollar. King Dollar was down 265 ticks. Now, she came down with 21,000 contracts. That's minimum amount of contracts, light contracts, folks, coming into a swing point that had 52,000 contracts, coming into another swing point of 57. So what that's saying is that the dollar's going to have a hard time getting to lower price. That's also saying that the dollar wants higher price. We take a look at the inside the NDX 100. What was taking points away from it today is Microsoft, Intuitive Surgical, what's that, Mattel? Yeah, Mattel and eBay. Intuitive Surgical got absolutely taken apart. What was helping the NDX 100 today was Rango Resources. That was the biggest one inside it. That was up $3. We had Amgen. That was up $4.62. Gilead Science was up $1.88, and Biogen. So it's kind of interesting. 3 out of the 4 leaders inside the NDX 100 today were the biotechs. Some of the large caps out here, this is what you have with the large caps. Let's go. I'm going to go right over to IBM because we're watching IBM. IBM is going to be a huge problem, folks, for the Dow Industrials. You know, you had a little pop in IBM yesterday, but as I said earlier, it is not backing away from the bottom of this trend. We're at 193.54. It was down $4 today. We put this on a weekly basis, and what you're going to see is this. She's hammering the bottom with volume. IBM did 31 million this week. She's going into a swing point that had 35 million. She's going into another swing point with 37 million. IBM wants to break this bottom out. And, you know, we'll see how she attacks it. Meaning 183 is not bad for IBM. If IBM croaks that 183, then it's going to be big problems. Microsoft. We had with Microsoft out here today. Microsoft was down $4, 11%. Gapped down. Microsoft has some problems now. Microsoft has been in a great run. There's no two ways about that. But what you have is that Microsoft just took back 3 months in 6.5 hours, folks, with volume, by the way. So when you take a look at what we have with Microsoft right now, she also, let's see, yeah, she got back in the range. Now, this is important to understand because what I was talking about this morning is this, is that in markets where you have large gap downs, and we'll get to Intuitive Surgical in a second. Intuitive Surgical is a large gap down. Microsoft is a large gap down. That is a heads up in particular that you got to watch the market like a hawk because when markets want to pull back, you get gap aways and people wake up in the morning and you're down big dollars. What you have with Microsoft is that she got back inside the range, meaning that range from March 12th. That's where she had broken higher. And that's saying she's going to go to the bottom range now. The bottom range for Microsoft is $22. Intuitive Surgical, ISRG. This is just a classic double gap. You talk about 2 gaps away. It's just pretty amazing, actually. So Intuitive Surgical, it had a gap 2 weeks ago. It gapped from 500 down to 400. This morning, what it did, it gapped from 425, and then it opened at 366. And then it closed at 392. Do not touch the stock, folks, okay? The amount of volatility in it is great if you want to trade it intraday, okay? But you better really understand what you're doing. On a longer-term basis, Intuitive Surgical is heading for 232, and right now it's at 392. This is Tom O'Brien. This is TFNN. You stay right there, folks. We're coming back with our technology expert at TFNN, our man, Mr. David White. The Dow finished down 4, NASDAQ down 23, S&Ps are up 9. We're going to be right back, folks.